Are we rolling?
Hit me.
So, number one, can you tell us more about the super, ultra, hyper, mega, meta Lydian scale and how you would use it in your improvisation?
Well, let me tell you right now. The way that the circle of fifths I guess the circle of fifths makes music very vivid to me in terms of understanding the bright and the dark side. So the bright side being, you start on C and go C, G, D, A, E. That's like that's brightening, and then C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat. That's darkening. And you can approach a key center from either side. Like a plagal cadence is very reassuring. It's like hugging the key, and then a perfect cadence is like arriving in the key. And so there are different ways of feeling about the brightness and the darkness of things. But yeah, the super, ultra, hyper, mega, meta Lydian. I don't know if I call it a scale, but it's like a sound. The idea of Lydian not stopping it at the root when you rise, like
Yeah.
This thing. For me, it's just like that's how Lydian sounds. That's Lydian at its most comfortable. I'm not sure George Russell would agree with me, by the way, but I think that that as a sound, that's that's optimum brightness. And then if you go, that's like the opposite kind of scale, because that's, I don't know if I call it super Locrian, but it like continuously wraps itself around the darker side of the cycle of fifths. Cadences to F, cadences to B flat, E flat, A flat, and that way of thinking, it's really informed me a lot about, first of all, navigation, but also like colouring in chords.
Wow. I saw the post of you discussing negative harmony with Herbie Hancock.
Yeah.
So what is that?
Oh, so this, it's funny, that's kind of linked to the last question, but this guy Ernst Levy, he wrote a book a few years ago, like a few decades ago, called A Theory of Harmony, and he's from Europe or something. And this book, it's like a classical composition book from quite, I guess, long enough ago that jazz education wasn't a thing, so he thinks very classically about things. But his idea is that harmony can exist. Any chord in any key has a reflection, a polar opposite chord within that key center, based on rotating every single note around the axis of the key center. So, for example, if you're in C, between C and G, that's your axis. So if I have the chord of G7, that has a negative version, and what I do is I reflect every note of that chord G7 over the axis of C and G, which actually is like between E and E flat. So G becomes C, and then B becomes A flat, D becomes F, and F becomes D.
So it's like D half diminished?
So it's like F minor 6. Yeah, D half diminished, F minor 6. But that is like, we all know that sound, like F minor 6 to C major. That's like, like a minor plagal cadence.
Yeah.
It has the same amount of gravity than G7 does, because the voice leading is equivalent. All of the notes have the same amount of gravity to the thing, but like the A flat and F minor 6 wants to sink to the G in the same way that the B wants to rise. So what Ernst talks about is this idea of that polarity, like the gravity is as strong, but it's kind of like it converts everything perfect to plagal. And then if you think about that kind of thing, A7, D7, G7, C becomes E flat minor 6, B flat minor 6, F minor 6 to C. And that's really epic. It sounds like really warm and wonderful, but it doesn't sound like really unfamiliar. It just sounds like it's coming from the other side of the circle of fifths, basically, which is like very in touch with what I feel about circle of fifths.
You said that you have a theory that all major chords are built on fifths and all minor chords are built on fourths.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about this theory?
Yeah. Oh, this is fun.
Yeah.
So, kind of as I was saying before, this is brightening and this is darkening. And if you think about music in the gestural sense that most people think about it, or don't think about it, which is just experiencing it as, dissonance and consonance, or the beginning to the end, something fast, something slow, something loud, something quiet. Like, these are the primary colours of how people consume music. And with that in mind, if I hear a chord like something like this, like C minor 13 or whatever.
Yeah.
That feels like a major chord to me more than a minor chord, because it's like it's the relative minor of E flat major.
Do you ever use Dorian mode on minor chords?
Yeah, I do. Well, I guess that's Dorian. That's C Dorian.
Yeah.
And I think it's good. But if you want to make something more minor, then instead of using more minor scales, I think going further around the flat side circle of fifths is how you do it. Like if you go do do do, you compare that to do 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 do, like that's super Lydian versus Phrygian or Locrian, and that is the most profound difference between major and minor that I've ever come across. Way more than like C minor, C major. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that way of thinking about things I just had a philosophy that fourths is more minor than like inverting a major scale to a minor key.
Your usage of minor ninth, the interval minor ninth, is different from every other musician. This kind of voicing, like you said,
Yeah. Like where I put that semitone, you mean?
yeah.
It's funny. It's super important, and it's quite a distinctive thing to use. And obviously, you can space that out and make it like a minor ninth interval as well. If you have like, yeah, like that's A minor 11, but it's got the minor ninth in it. That's like an emotional choice.
Yeah.
You know, you think, oh, I want it to feel a bit more longing than just being like. It's like normal fifths, you know. But swapping notes around and making choices about like where to distribute the tension, that's like a lot of that. You know, a lot of arranging is about that, as opposed to what notes you choose to put in chords. And you know, in some ways you can make a list of all the notes in a chord, and that doesn't mean anything until you decide how to use those notes and where to put them. And that's a lot of it. And that's even before you decide how to sing them. You know,
Right.
like whether I record this note 2 times or 3 times or 4 times, whether I pan them all over the place or pan them in the centre, and whether those notes go ah or ha, and all those choices. Like, you know, once you have an arrangement, that's the very beginning of the process.
In your arrangement of You and I, which won the Grammy Award 2 days
Oh,
ago.
I guess so, yeah.
At exactly 3-minute and 20-second mark, you sing a B major pentatonic scale over a C major 13 chord. How does that make sense to you?
What's the context? Where is it in the tune?
No. Like,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that-
Well, in some ways, it's like it's the foresight of the F sharp major or G flat major tonality, which is implied by B sus. B sus is like a plagal on plagal cadence to F sharp major. It's like A major 7, which is like A, E, V, F sharp. Plagal, plagal, plagal.
Yeah.
So that is like, if I go, yeah, I guess. Yeah, what that pentatonic means is I'm going to F sharp. That's one thing it means. And the other thing is I think it fits over the C chord that I can't remember what it is. It's probably like C, G, E, A, B, D sharp, F sharp or something like that. I love that chord. It's like major 7 sharp 9 but with the sixth in it.
Yeah.
But anyway, that pentatonic. To be honest, I really didn't think too much about it. I just sang it in. But if you ask me to explain it, I could say, yeah, it shows what's to come. The F sharp major tonality, which is the key the whole song's in, and also your ear just hears it going sharp, and like the sharpness of F sharp pentatonic, the most sharp possible pentatonic, resolving to B sus, like A major 7 over B. That's so rich, because you hear the A sharp flat into A, and you hear the D sharp flat into one. You feel like, do you know what I mean? Like everything goes. It like goes from like major to and like
Maybe.
the more changes, the more like textual changes from sharp to flat that you have when a chord change happens, the more you have the ability to feel that change and be affected by it. So if you compare A pentatonic to F sharp pentatonic, those are the two sounds you're hearing. You're hearing F sharp pentatonic and then A pentatonic because it's B sus. The difference between those two pentatonics is a minor third, which is like the second most different pentatonic you could find besides the tritone. Like, and so that is there's a difference in that's satisfying because you hear like, and that's like, you know.
How's playing the harmonizer different from playing the piano in terms of voice leading
Interesting, yeah.
and no choice?
Well, first of all, it sounds very different, and one of the most notable differences just with regard to playing it is that this doesn't do anything. That doesn't attack.
Yeah.
That attacks. So all the voices have to come from my mouth, and if I play it on its own, it doesn't make any sound. So if I go like, like I can lead the voices only with my own voice. When I record at home, obviously I never record with the harmonizer. I only record with voices, and you have so many more choices about, kind of as I was saying earlier on, how to approach things, how to approach a note in the chord, and you know, if in that B sus chord, if it's the bar, like, you know, the bar needs to be able to lean on the bar because the bar is really important, and so I want to sing that maybe like maybe 1.5 times louder than the bar, and I might sing it 3 times instead of 2 and put it here, here, and here, and then the bar is here and here, and all those choices, like, you can't do that with the harmonizer. You just have to play the harmony. So it's like it's a kind of a shallower version of doing it, but it's in its own right. It's a very dynamic and fully fledged instrument, and it made me get voice leading together a lot. because with the piano you can just go bundle, 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 and they all sound great.
Yeah.
With the harmonizer, to get the motion of voices, you need to be thoughtful about it and you understand how things are moving and how it all works. So yeah, it was like a workout for me for a long time.
But the people at the venue say they are close, so
Oh, really?
one more question. Yeah, we need to speed this up.
Okay, we can do that.
Okay.
Okay.
I have to choose one. You recently mentioned microtonal voice leading in an interview with the New York Times.
Yeah.
What in the world is that?
Well, the basic idea is that, as I was saying before, the human ear just hears things moving
Yeah.
and then things arriving. So whether I go, actually, there's a good example I can give. So you know Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Alright. So like, they never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. That like one part could go, you know, because what you're hearing is join in any reindeer games. You see that? But what you could do is join in any reindeer games.
So you put something between F sharp and...
Well, it's less that you put. It's not like G and then the chord between F sharp and G and then F sharp. It's more like you erase all idea of like notatable harmony, and you just think I'm at G and my destination is E, so I go ba da 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 da. You divide it equally up, you know, or into more than like 5 da 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 da. You know, and if you can do that. All that matters is that you're aiming the place. All that matters is that you're arriving in a place. It doesn't matter how you get there. That's actually why harmony works, is because it's like I'm here, and then I arrive at the place, and all you need is someone to do something satisfying. That's not like da 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 ba. That's not an arrival, you know. But anything chromatic, as I'm sure you know, is like it's very important. It's like chromatic voice singing is the best, and sometimes, you know, on no note would I want to go da 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 da. Or da 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 da, maybe because of the voice leading. So it's about thinking about voice leading more gesturally and thinking, I have this many chords, and there's another one in fascinating rhythm. I don't know if you picked this up, but I think you did. But I think you wrote it like one quarter tone instead of the whole thing being. It goes like, I can't remember what key it's in. It's like, oh how I long to be the man that I used to be. Like, yeah, this. Oh how I long, yeah. Oh how I long to be the man that I used. Like that's not man that I used. It's man that I used.
They're all divided equally.
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know how you'd write that down. Luckily you need to think about that, and I don't.
Right.
but yeah, I guess that's how I think about it. And
Yeah.
the idea is that you start somewhere and then you end somewhere.
Wow, thanks so much,
Yeah.
Jacob.
June, absolutely, man. Yeah, thanks for asking all these questions.